This video is about the archetype of Aries. So whether your sun, moon, or ascendant is in Aries, or if you have a stellium, meaning 3 planets or more in Aries, or if Mars, the ruler of Aries, is in the sign of Aries, then this video applies to you. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, a cardinal fire sign ruled by the planet Mars, and its key phrase is I am. It's a sign that is self-centered on its individuality and action. Aries symbolize new beginnings, fresh starts, and bold energy. In this video, we'll explore Aries' harmonious qualities as well as its shadow side and its deep esoteric and astrotheological significance. I will also briefly share my perspective on Aries and how to heal through shadow work. Welcome to Starwell Astrology. My name is Shari, and I am a Western tropical astrologer, and I specialize in shadow work. If you enjoy astrology and looking at a deeper side of it and how it is relevant to shadow work, as well as esoteric mysticism and astrotheology, then don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Also, I'd like to add that I do offer natal chart readings and one-on-one shadow work, and my information is below. So now keep in mind as I discuss the archetype of Aries that we're not one thing in a natal chart, so the entire chart must be considered. So I'm just isolating the Aries archetype to describe it in its fundamental qualities. However, if you have a lot of placements in Aries, then this will mostly apply to you. So let's start out by discussing the main characteristics of the Aries archetype. Their core traits are commonly described as ready, fire, aim. They are self-assured and confident, natural leaders who are courageous and willing to take the risks. They are the daredevils of the zodiac and be adrenaline junkies. Aries are self-sufficient, independent, adventurous. They value freedom and thrive on challenges, often becoming the pioneers and trailblazers of the world. They are quick, competitive, and always action-oriented. Also, because Aries has this innocent quality, it's very difficult for them to be dishonest. And they also are pretty direct. They are very straightforward, but this makes them reliable and trustworthy. They're also very energetic and very insightful and optimistic. Their enthusiasm is infectious and they're always ready for new experiences and adventures. They will take advantage of an opportunity without question. They're also hopeless romantics and very passionate. Aries are loyal and protective to the ones that they cherish and love. The challenges of Aries is their impulsiveness. They often act without thinking, which can lead to rash decisions. They can be very rash and rebellious, always ready to fight, especially if they're immature. And they also be seen as rude because they'll butt into a conversation and hijack the whole thing and not even notice that, they just barged in. They're extremely impulsive and impatient and can be pushy, and they dislike waiting, and they're also quick to skip the details. They are seen as egocentric because, especially if they're immature, they can be selfish, overly competitive, and prone to boasting. And they're also can be aggressive if they have anger issues they need to deal with, and or some wounding from their childhood that has made them angry. They can hold on to that anger and like spew it out on everybody else. They're also they can be temperamental and very domineering. They're poor listeners. They're really all fire and just want to take over and doesn't Aries wants to talk about itself or whatever its interests are at the time. So Aries prefers their perspective and can struggle to tolerate different opinions. The unique characteristics of Aries is that they are fiery and instinctive and they dive headfirst into challenges, symbolized by the ram's horn. they're courageous and they are fighters. Aries are the warriors of the zodiac and they embody primal instincts and energy. They're quick-tempered and they also adapt just as easily. They thrive in new situations and are ready to explore uncharted territories. They're focused on the present, and Aries lives in the moment, tackling life with intensity and enthusiasm. They're also very resilient, but because they're so fueled to move forward, they can burn out. But even after setbacks, they will bounce back quite quickly. Aries and shadow work. So Aries and shadow work, what can they work on? They might be the first to jump in and say, I'll try shadow work, really excited of the prospect of something new. Plus, if they are considering shadow work, a lot of times it's based on what their ego wants because they believe it might give them some kind of leading edge in life. So their motivations for doing shadow work would not really be the whole point of shadow work, but they would be willing to try it. But they will really lose interest in shadow work once they realize that it's a lifetime practice of patience and that they have to set aside their strong ego and really look at themselves. And this is not that easy for them, especially when they're younger and more immature. Aries might be the first to give up on shadow work practice because they want the results now. And the idea that this is a long-term situation is not that appealing to them, and because they really need the quick fix. However, should they slow down, and this comes with maturity, because remember, Aries is the innocent infant of the zodiac. They slow down enough as they get more mature and, get enough practice from life, and they decide to stick with the self-witnessing practice and really focus on themselves inwards, especially if there are other supporting indications in the chart, then they should have great results because they naturally have access to sensing their gut instinct and learn by paying attention to this. And this will effortlessly get them in touch with their inner knowing, which offers them great insight and wisdom. Astrological insights based on Aries rulerships that can reveal intriguing patterns. Now, Aries is on the ascendant, is also the natural ruler of the first house. Aries' second house is ruled by Taurus. And believe it or not, they are actually pretty good with money. And this is also based on where their 10th house falls. But I will talk about first the second house. It's ruled by Taurus, which is your resources and how you deal with money. And Taurians are known for being very stable in how they earn money, and they're willing to be practical about the decisions they make around money. So they have this working for them, even though they may have to be patient about getting to their goals of whatever income they choose to earn. Usually they get there, and when they do, they are pretty stable about how they handle their money situation. Now, Gemini rules their third house, and this also is great for Aries because Gemini in the third house allows them to market themselves, network, be social enough, be curious, allows them to be aggressive in their marketing skills, and they're able to network and also engage with others and have easy conversations and also stay curious to learn new ideas. With Cancer in the fourth house, this also makes them protective and deeply connected to their family. They are very sensitive around the people that they have a strong connection to, especially, their family roots. And they can be very caring parents. The fifth house, a Leo house, and they have the most fun. Being the natural childlike archetype of the zodiac, the fifth house rules the inner child. So they can stay open to playing and being curious and creative, and they also can be dramatic in love and romance. Now, with the eighth house being ruled by Scorpio, they also can be resilient. And when there's a crisis, they're able to act in a way that handles the crisis or the intense situations. But with this position, they can be prone to possessiveness, maybe even jealousy in intimate relationships. And what I was saying in the beginning of this, where, the second house is ruled by Taurus, the 10th house is ruled by Capricorn. And Capricorn, we know, are natural leaders, and they are hard workers, and they can build something constructive and materialize it, even though Aries has the impulse to move quickly and not think clearly. With the 10th house in rulership, it gives them a chance to materialize through their careers something productive. In astrotheology and esoteric mysticism, the connections to Aries is very strong because the sun is exalted in Aries, which marks the sun's rebirth and resurrection during the spring equinox. And this results in the beginning of the new spiritual year. The ram's horn is the glyph of Aries, symbolizing the Lamb of God. And the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world is extremely symbolic because the lamb becomes the ram when it's born in innocence as the lamb and becomes the ram. And the childlike energy of Aries archetype, which means it's the innocent, impulsive, and curious child. When it gets older, it becomes the ram's horn, which is describing its divine impulse for illuminating into higher consciousness. The ram's horn is in esoteric mysticism, is the hippocampus of the brain, and it relates to the optic thalamus or the third eye. Aries, like I said, is the natural ruler of the first house, and it also rules the hour of sunrise from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. So the sun regains its strength and is reborn and resurrected each day during that hour, but also each year during the spring equinox, when the sun is resurrected, it moves over the horizon during the spring equinox, and this is regarded as Passover, or as the sun passes over 0 degrees of Aries, which brings new beginnings. Aries is a dynamic, pioneering force in the zodiac and is inspired and bold. And once they work on balancing their fiery traits and become more mature, they can invite in the energy of new beginnings with courage and confidence. Okay, so thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts or comments below. Thank you and goodbye.